Not only are we facing the truth, but we're facing the lies as well. Our first story has been making headlines around the world. First reported as an attack, then a hate crime, then a hoax. I'm talking about actor Jussie Smollett, who is a co-star of mine on Empire, and now faces a felony charge of disorderly conduct for allegedly planning the attack himself. Smollett gave an ABC News interview shortly after the attack, and he came off very believable. But we wanted to know, can you tell when someone is lying? Joining us is body language expert Tanya Ryman to help us out. Tanya, how can you tell when someone is 100% a liar?
You can never tell definitively that somebody is lying. What you're looking for is clusters of signals that indicate anxiety and deception. And those two, there's such a fine line between them that you have to really look at the circumstances to make a decision whether or not you believe them to be lying. And even then, unless they come out and say, I'm lying, you're never 100% sure.
And Tanya, what do you think about individuals who, for example, have antisocial personality disorder?
Right.
They're psychopaths. They're really good at modulating their anxiety. In fact, oftentimes they don't even have reactions to things that we would be horrified by. So have you worked with individuals like that? And what do you do in those circumstances?
That's a great question, because what happens with people like that is initially you have to look at them and go, how come they're not emoting at all?
Right.
And then the recognition comes out, you hear their words, you start to watch the way they're trying to behave. For the most part, anyone who's a psychopath is very charismatic. For the most, you know, they're lovable. So what you're doing now is looking for the false movements that they make, because they're trying to behave like normal and natural individuals. And so you're looking for disconnects.
Very cool.
Tanya's going to break down the interview with a few key clips. Let's start with Smollett describing his attack.
We started tussling, you know, it was very icy, and we ended up tussling by the stairs.
So when we're looking at that, right off the bat, he does not hold eye contact. And typically when you're remembering a story, what you would do instead of looking side to side is look up to visualize that story. So that was one of the first things I thought, like, why isn't he looking up to relive the story in his mind?
Basically like a recall.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But Tanya, could that be because it's, you know, if someone has experienced something so traumatic, might they avoid that kind of eye contact you just described because it's so painful?
Well, it's not even that he's not holding eye contact with Robin, it's that he's not looking where he should be looking. He should be looking up to be visualizing that story, that memory. So if I were to say to you, what color was your car, your very first car?
I would look down, to be honest.
Well, if you baseline someone like I did with Jussie,
I'm afraid to talk because you're analyzing me now.
No, so when you baseline, see, that's a great point to make. You look for someone's normal behavior, and then you look for deviations from that behavior. So if I'm someone who typically makes eye contact and holds eye contact when I'm commenting, and then suddenly you ask me a question and it's a hot flag question, I'm probably gonna go, oh, well, let me think about that for a moment. So I'm gonna break that connection where I normally hold it. And that goes the same if I normally answer a question in 25 words and now I answer a question in 2 words, that's a red flag as well. So it's looking for the normal behavior of an individual and then deviations from that normal behavior.
What about a rehearsed answer?
That's really worse, because when we're trying to lie, and this we saw as well, when we're trying to be deceptive, quite often it's a story that we have to remember, right? So we're trying to put it together as we go, and so you'll find a lot of, oh, wait, no, oh, and then this happened. So in other words, they're reconstructing it as opposed to just coming out naturally because it actually happened to them. When something actually happens to you, the memory tends to flow out a little bit easier and you don't have the stops and starts.